This happened at the end of last year. After an office drinking party, a coworker dropped me off near my home, and I walked the rest of the way. It was already past noon. My apartment's in a rural housing area with no people out late at night. I was walking down a narrow road barely wide enough for a car to pass. As I drunkenly ambled along, I heard a vehicle approaching from behind and moved aside. Glancing back, a black boxy old model crown-looking car was crawling up the road with its headlights off, which struck me as odd that late. I kept walking, expecting it to pass me, but it just kept pace behind. I stopped to let it go ahead. But when it drew up close behind me, it stopped for some reason. With no indication it would move on, I started walking again. And it slowly resumed as well. A bit creeped out now, I wondered if it was friends playing a prank. Looking at the driver's seat, it seemed to be a woman with long hair. I relaxed thinking, it's just a girl, maybe trying to pick me up, and continued strolling forward. Next, the car pulled right up on my heels, close enough I could get hit if it didn't brake. It kept crawling along, tailing me. Deciding this was sketchy, I turned to say something to the driver. She was glaring at me with a crazy expression. Eyes wide open, mouth stretched unnaturally wide. A look of pure horror, yet also somehow weirdly amused. Seeing her abnormal face, fear suddenly struck me, and I broke into a run toward home. The car sped up, staying on my tail. I turned down a narrow lane, too small for vehicles, and looked back to find it gone. Finally reaching home, I quickly locked up and turned on the tea to settle my nerves after the bizarre encounter. Just as I had calmed down some time later, I heard loud rattling from the entryway. Still shaken by earlier, I apprehensively went to check. The locked doorknob was aggressively shaking, as if someone outside was trying to force it open. Terrified but mustering my courage, I rushed back inside and peered out through the peephole. No one there. I hurried to my room, dove under the covers, and tried to will myself to sleep despite trembling in fear. About an hour of uneasy rest passed without incident. As I lay there half asleep, I casually glanced at the window. Only the night sky visible. Feeling thirsty, I got up to grab a drink from the kitchen. That's when I saw her, standing right at my front door. This time clearly. Impossibly long pitch-black hair hanging from the face of an old woman, making that same deranged expression. After that, I don't recall.